All right, good morning, trade pros. Welcome to our morning market update for Tuesday, July the 10th. Um, it's going to be a great day. I can feel it. My name is George Papazov. I'm here for your morning market update for today as part of Trade Pro Academy. I'm back. Yesterday, I took a little bit of vacation away from the office, a day off. Fiance and I are planning our wedding coming up very shortly. So we took one last day to be humans before we end up being spreadsheet monkeys and just an open wallet. I tell you, anyone that's been married, like if you agree, my gosh, it feels like you just open your wallet and just the wind breeze comes in, just you see all the money flowing out of it. Down to the home stretch, though. All right, let's talk about the morning market update. First and foremost, in Asia, Japan's up 0.7%. Hong Kong's flat. China's up 0.4, and India's up 0.9 of a percentage point. Asian equities green across the board and rallying after a pretty bullish day yesterday. I asked the guys in the room how it went. They said it was a strange day, upside on low volume. That's what we call thin to win. And thin to win days are sort of the hardest for day traders, the best days for more medium term swing traders, because they're like, oh, it's working. And they check back every 4 hours and there's a 2 cent move, but it keeps going up and up and up consistently. That's a pretty bad example, by the way. But in Europe at midday, London's up 0.2%. Paris is up 0.5 percentage point. Frankfurt's up 0.4. European equities also green across the board. And in the United States, Dow's up 0.3, S&P's up 0.2, NASDAQ up 0.3%, green across the board. Not a single equity market this morning is red or weak. All right, crude oil this morning is up 0.5%, up to 74.22 on the high, currently trading at 74.38 and bidding. And we're going to talk about why that is, some news out of Norway that's impacting the crude oil market. We've got some more upside in crude. Of course, we got to take out the swing top in order for us to continue to the upside. And there is some slight resistance above, but the market is bullish from a fundamental aspect. At some point from a technical level, it's going to be an opportunity for a fade down, for a drop, for a retracement, and the overall trend. The question is, will it happen now or not? Can't answer that. I haven't seen a topping pattern quite yet, but soon you might have an opportunity for the short. We'll keep you guys posted. All right. Gold is down 0.5%. Bitcoin down 3% to mid 6,000. Bitcoin seems like it likes mid 6,000 as a range. Even with good news, it pops $500-600 a Bitcoin. Then bad news drops at $600-700 a Bitcoin, and then goes right back up to mid 6,000. So it's range bound. That's not a bad thing for a very active market. Being range bound is not a horrific thing. Yeah, you can't buy a Bitcoin and have a Lambo tomorrow, but most markets don't move like that. And now Bitcoin's becoming a more mature, stable marketplace. And that's good. That's a win. All right. Today's economic calendar, we have Redbook chain store sales that came out already at 8:55. 10 a.m. we got labor market conditions index, and 1 p.m. results of a 33 billion 3-year note auction from the United States. AKA not a big news day. It's going to move on technicals. There's a lack of economic news, which means there's a lack of movement, but all that starts to pick up again on Thursday with the inflation data coming out of the U.S. That's going to be a big day for the United States. All right. Two things we're going to talk about today: the new Supreme Court judge that Donald Trump's appointed, and the oil shortages out of Norway that's causing the bid and all. First and foremost, Brett Kavanaugh has been nominated for the U.S. Supreme Court position. He's the latest judge. He hasn't started his job yet. They're going to have to go through a confirmation process through the Senate. That's not going to be an easy deal to do, so it's not a given, but it's causing an uproar. There's a lot of demonstrations and protests around the United States. And I see both sides. I'm a person that sees both sides of the coin. And yes, one side, there's a lot of protests. On the other side, however, there's a lot of organizations that have tweeted accidentally that said, because of Donald Trump's nomination of XX, we are now holding a rally against blah, blah, blah. Which means what? Which means no matter who won, this protest would have happened. So are you protesting the person, or still kind of holding a grudge against Donald Trump's win in the election process? And you never know, right? I mean, at the end of the day, every person's entitled to opinion, and every opinion of every person's right because they believe it for their own personal reasons. And I think that's the trouble. The trouble is that's what divides people, is when you think that you're the only one that's right. I love to see alternative perspectives as well. So anyways, this Brett Kavanaugh gentleman, dude, guy, I don't know what to call him, has been appointed Not yet. He's going to have to go through confirmation hearing, and that's going to be a tough process. But he's a far right type of guy, and really the main thing that this creates is a 5-9 or 5-4 rather majority on the right side, and that's what some of the Democrats are not in favor with. It's put a little bit of a balance of power towards the Republican side of the scale, if you will. That's what's sort of causing the uproar. That's what's causing some of the panic. It's a shift. It's a change. And whenever there's change in something that's been status quo for a long time switches over, it starts to worry people. All right. And I understand that. And that's sort of what the uproar has been about. Again, it's not a done deal, but Kavanaugh, he's been critical of expanding powers of federal agencies. And also, he's fought on things like labor rights, credit card fees, payday loans in favor of not having them, and that's sort of what's causing some of that concern and fear. None of this is. I mean, look, it's not going to cause a big deal at the moment until it goes through the Senate process, and that's not going to be till at least December. It's most likely going to be after the midterm elections coming up. So yeah, we've just found the news out now, but it's not going to impact us till months down the road. But it is something that will be happening. All right. Here's the other news today for oil. This is really big news. Moving on to oil now. Oil prices are rallying on Norway's basically walkout. All oil exploration or rig drillers in Norway have basically walked off the job. I guess if it's a rig and it's the middle of the sea, did they walk off or did they swim off? We won't debate that. But anyways, workers on Norway's oil and gas offshore rigs have gone on strike. They rejected a proposed wage deal, and that shuts down production on Royal Dutch Shell's Narfield in the North Sea, which is a pretty big exploration site. All right, separately, and this is outside of what. Sorry, guys, there's all this beeping and stuff in the background, and it just threw me off a little bit. Outside of that, there's a separate event as well. OPEC President Suhail al-Mazroui, he said that Donald Trump's demand for higher output, or because Donald Trump's demand for higher output with the intention to lower oil prices is basically rejected. They said that's not our issue. It's not our fault. And he said OPEC does not shoulder the blame for this. So they've kind of dismissed it. Like, all right, Trump, we know that you think we should be outputting more oil and price should be lower, but that ain't our fault. We got our own business to look after. And in addition to that, with Norway's strike, that's really putting some upside pressure on oil. I think oil is going to be bullish today. Look to buy dips in the market. I do think equities have run their course to the upside. I've thought that for about a day and a half now. So yesterday's day, it was hard to fade. You weren't going to short. But today we're starting to run out of a little bit of momentum. There isn't any news. We're trading on technicals. We're up against a really big resistance. I think we got a slight pullback in today's session. So, Mark, you've been asking about those puts 16,000 times the last 24 hours. I think today you're going to get a chance to offload them at a smaller loss and or get green. Who knows? I do think the sell side's coming in today. So you guys have yourselves a fantastic day. I got to turn around and get into the room, open it up for our members. We got a great day of trading ahead of us. Volatility slated to pick up starting tomorrow. Tomorrow's a big day. Oil. Then Thursday we have the CPI data, which is inflation measures. It's going to get more interesting than this. Today we got to get through it. If you're concerned that there's no news, if you're concerned about lower volatility, you can do three things. Not one of three things, all of three things. Trade less, trade smaller position size, and take profit and loss quicker. And that'll make you survive days that are choppier, slower, and the thin to win type of trade. Those are really difficult for day traders. Thin to win is difficult because it forces you to buy near the high, and it also forces you to be patient and wait through slow moves. It makes you be in a trade longer than you need to, and that's not what you need to do. When things are moving the way you aren't used to or aren't comfortable with, rather than doing what it's pulling you in to do, back out and do what you're supposed to be doing, what you're comfortable with more. And if you make a little bit of profit, less than your target, who cares? You made some money on a day that moves against how you're comfortable. That's amazing. That's a win. You need to celebrate that. All right. So today I'm warning you, day traders, it's not going to be as easy of a job because there isn't any clear-sided volatility. There isn't anything to cause volatility, but we just got to do our job, keep our eyes to the chart and our ears to the squawk, and that'll guide us. All right, you guys have a great day. Thank you for tuning in. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And when you do subscribe, hit the little bell so you get notifications, because we're live every morning at 9 a.m. See you guys later. Take care. Have a great day. Manage your risk. Trade like a trade pro. Goodbye. All right, trade pros in the room. Let's get down to business. I got a few levels that we're going to plot out. Marky, thank you, sir.